Quite frankly, it looks like the deposit money banks have not been able to facilitate speedier inclusion. Is this a measure of institutional hindrances, or is this because of the business models are just not right?
Yeah, thank you, Prof. That's a complex question. I'm on the spot. Okay. I think there's a lot going on that is not as obvious in the midst of big numbers. So let me say, for example, at FCMB this year, we launched Nigeria's first digital FCMB. We launched FCMB Easy Account, which is an account that anyone, whether you are on the East of Idori or whether you're on the Rivers branch, if you dial *329# and follow the instructions, you can open a digital account. You don't need to get to any branch on your phone anywhere you are, whether you're on the farm in Karanamoda. This account, we've done nearly about 1 million accounts on that FCMB's account this year. We have disbursed more than 22 billion naira to 200,000 women in our group lending business at FCMB Microfinance. These numbers are lost in the midst of the big numbers that we do at investor report analysis. So a lot is going on, but that is not to say that there's a lot of challenge. Let me give some important numbers to put my contribution in context. Financial inclusion is 63%, but the numbers that matters most is actually the number of people with bank accounts, which is 39.6%. That number, between 2012 and 2018, it was 22% in 2012. It was 39.6% or thereabout in 2018. It's only moved by about 8% over 6 years. At the rate of that kind of a growth, of 1.3% average growth a year, we would need 30 years to get 80% of Nigerians to have a bank account. So we have a challenge, and the banks, we acknowledge that. One of the things we must do is to commend the CBN. We do now have a progressive regulation, and we are going to see the impact of that. I'm going to talk to a couple of that. First and foremost, banks cannot do it alone. We need competition in the last mile in terms of access to customers. So we welcome the incoming of the PSBs, and we will look forward to working with them and collaborating with them, because they will increase competition. Competition will drive innovation. Competition will drive access. Competition will lower prices and drive affordability. So that's very important. The second thing about the progressive regulation is an institutional issue, which has also happened. It's always as obvious, is that we had the BVN, but we now have a Tier 1 account, which is a much more accessible digital identity. And working with our regulators, one of the things we need to continue to do is to say that if the BVN, which is the 10-finger digital identity biometric, is not as accessible, what other forms of complementary digital identity will be accessible to many more people so that we can get them to open a bank account? So what the CBN has done with the Tier 1 account, where they say you do not need a BVN, has enabled us to innovate around the FCMBZ account, where you can open a bank account on your phone because you don't need a BVN machine to do that. And so that's something very important in terms of digital identity. The other thing, of course, is that I've mentioned competition. We welcome the incoming of the Telecos into the financial service space. It will drive innovation and so on. But it's very important too that we make sure that there is no abuse of market power. Now, let me give you an example. The USSD channel, which is important to get access to many more people who do not have internet access, is very important. Now, if you run, USSD channel is like a toll gate. If you run a toll gate business, and you now want to start running a transportation business, it's important that we ensure that you do not give preferential lanes to your own cars. It's important that we ensure that you do not give preferential toll fee to your own cars. It's important that you don't give a different quality of toll lane to your competitors and a different one to yours. Because if that happens, that would stifle competition, and that will also kill innovation. It will kill affordability, and we are going to be back to where we started from. That is why when we read the progressive regulation, the PSB license, that says that the PSB subsidiaries must work at arm's length from their telco subsidiaries so that there's no abuse of market power. That if there's a restraint of trade in terms of predatory pricing, for example, in terms of preferential pricing, if we enforce that, we will work together. I think with that kind of a competition, we are going to get the kind of speedy financial inclusion, a regulated competition that is driving competition, but working to ensure that there's no abuse of market power. We're going to get the kind of speedy inclusion that we're looking for. Let me just also say, Prof, just before I drop the mic, that we need to collaborate. The stance of the players is a little bit too hawkish. We need the telcos and the banks to collaborate together. We will win together in public interest if we cooperate. The zero-sum game, which seems to be the approach we have to the market, is not in public interest, is also not in the interest of any of the players. So at FCMB, we look forward to working with our telco partners and brothers in terms of driving financial inclusion, competing and cooperating with them in public interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much.